made out of bricks and concrete, but also how a house can be converted into a home.
And I believe doing architectural work just gives me that peace and that feeling when you're handing over the keys to the client and they're looking at the finished house for the first time. I think that is the feeling which I'm working for. New York is timeless, and Shanghai is moving, and Dubai is the future.
Dubai is the future. On today's episode of Investment Compass, we have a dynamic duo redefining our living spaces by striking a fine balance between luxury, wellness, and sustainability. Avaasa Living is a full-service design and development studio dedicated to creating luxury homes, large-scale B2B projects, and turnkey developments. They bring with them a combined expertise in architecture, interior design, bespoke furniture, and project management to deliver spaces that align with modern aesthetics, energy efficiency, and Vastu principles. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Mayank Sabharwal and Mr. Bhavya Arora, co-founders of Avaasa Living. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you so much for having us.
Pleasure, Saloni.
Let's start with your personal stories. Mayank, you bring sharp business acumen and 25 years of experience to Avaasa Living. Could you share a little bit about what made you start this business?
Sure. So I've spent most of my professional life building spaces, systems, and experiences for the people to interact. And I've been a dreamer in my mind always. Started very young, went to a design school in India called NIFT, Hoskas. And, the creativity, the design thinking, I thought was an aptitude which came naturally to me. After completion of my education in design, I got into the lifestyle business, my family business of garment exports. We've been the first breed of garment exporters out of India for high fashion women's wear. And the journey started there. And when the family, wanted to kind of build a portfolio for wealth, the asset class which organically comes to any Indian family is real estate. And so it was very organic how my father used to kind of involve me with acquisition of lands, building factories, warehouses, offices for our business, and then personal real assets, our farmhouse, our home where we lived, and we've of course made multiple of them. So the journey started like that, and I thought that my heart and the creative bend of my mind was about creating these beautiful aesthetic influenced spaces which were not just made out of bricks and concrete, but also how a house can be converted into a home. So the eye for detail, which I learned very quick in my younger years, helped me to get that initial traction from friends and family of how they used to visit us, for occasions, festivals, and all of that, and praise how the place where we lived, where we worked, caught their eye, and they wanted something similar for them. So the transition of building our own spaces and then formalizing a business model, a company, and start doing work for people outside my family happened from there. Just a few years after I started my journey. And then, of course, it has caught on, and people have appreciated, liked the work we did. References came in, and the work grew, and that's what then formally got under the name of Avaasa Living. So Avaasa in Sanskrit actually means home. It was not just a random thought about the name, but it was very deeply thought of. So Avaasa started, we understood what were the aspirations of a family who are now wanting to kind of build their own space, either for living or working. Those aspirations then we thought would be nice to put on a vision board for them. Once they like our vision board, have their own inputs given it to them, the the structure is formed around it, and of course then the design, development, execution happens. So I think that, coming back to your question, I think it's very seamlessly, very unthoughtfully, the growth, that we have achieved so far, the name that we have built for ourselves, has not really been very extremely meticulously planned. But I think it's the passion which I would say has driven it all. And whatever we have achieved so far, we've delivered over 5 million square feet of spaces, and these are not skyscrapers. We are doing, a lot of amalgamation of wellness, aesthetics, good quality, small space plannings, optimization of whatever area that you're wanting to build. It has happened, with the passion wrapped around everything. So the journey of Avaasa, I would say, and the differentiator factor which has gotten created over the period of time has been very organic, and I think it is heart driven more than anything else. We also believe that there is somebody's hard earned money and investment going into a project. So financial feasibility of the project is something which we also keep in mind while doing the spaces. But keeping those budgets in mind and how we can do the designing around it is something that also is a unique selling proposition of Avaasa. I think I've, said it all. So, yeah.
That was really beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. I think it's a really inspiring sort of trip that you've been on and how you've arrived at Avaasa Living. You're right, it is very seamless. Bhavya, I want to know a little bit more about the artistic and creative side of interior design, which is sort of your forte as a principal architect. Could you tell us more about your journey into this space?
So I come from a very humble background and my father is a realtor back in India. So I've been born and brought up in that culture only. I've been seeing real estate, going with my father for site visits at a very early age of maybe let's say 8 or 10 years old. Even when I did not understand that, I believe it was just being carved out in my mind. I did not have a clarity that I want to move into this direction. I think I did not have the clarity since I was in 11th or 12th standard. But then some or the other way it just panned out in that direction. I pursued architecture. I really enjoyed the course. So what I believe, architecture is like an amalgamation of civil engineer work and a planning and a interior work. So an architect gets to go on the whole journey with a lot of other people. So all we have to do is put our thought on paper and then translate it on site. Feels simple, looks simple, but the process is very tedious. We have to focus on a lot of details when we are doing it. And I believe doing architectural work just gives me that peace and that sense of achievement when I'm doing something. I really like that. I really like the fact that I'm designing for somebody. Somebody's going to come and reside in that house or in that place. That feeling when you're handing over the keys to the client and they're looking at the finished house for the first time. I think that is the feeling which I'm working for. And that gives me immense pleasure in this whole journey.
Wow, that's really amazing to hear. Okay, so you've recently expanded Avaasa Living into Dubai, and this region, it's very well known for its interior and design scene. What made you shift? What made you want to expand into the UAE?
Saloni, I'm glad that you asked this. We've been getting very strong feelers from this part of the world for, I would say, especially after COVID. I've been coming to Dubai and to UAE from early 2000s. But a lot of my friends, acquaintances have shifted their base permanently after COVID. And, they have always understood the company's strength, Avasa's strength, and me as an individual, what I bring on the table for my clients. And they've been very encouraging and asking me to come over and explore this place where they, the words they used was that, Mayank, there is probably 100% growth achievement which can happen. What you have created back home could be 100x over here. So, you kind of always hear and, and reflect back. So I took multiple trips after COVID, especially in the last couple of years. And I understood, interacted with a lot of people, I would say about 300 people who come from the real estate, development, even D2C clients, and through, social networking, professional networking. And I realized that even though there was a lot of competition here and a lot of companies were into similar spaces, but mostly they were doing just a piece of it. I saw that there was a big gap in the market for a company which could do complete turnkey solutions designed to deliver with vertically integration, having their own strong back-end and front-end execution. I also felt that, the customers were feeling a lot of delays in having their projects completed, quality issues, corners being cut, and truly people did not, most of the companies did not understand the sustainable, eco-friendly, green living. And the aesthetics, the creativity was something which I thought was not up there. And it gave us very clear indications and a way to think about entering the market. And we created our strategy of go-to-market, keeping these pain points and the gaps and the white space that we thought would be good for us to play. Very, like I said, I envision, I dream. I also do my due diligence about the market before we enter it, because we are not here for a short run. When we have entered this market, it's with a clear vision of getting to the top 5 in the space that we are in the next 3 years. It could sound like a moonshot to someone, but I think that if you have the expertise, you have the passion, and you have the courage and the will to do something, it is all achievable. And of course, God has been kind. I've been meeting the right people. RG Group is, somebody we met at an event, Mr. Dinesh, and I think we get going from the word go with each other's thought process. And here we are now strategically putting our synergies together on projects which are getting onboarded. So I see that there is enough and more work room for people who are wanting to deliver and execute as per the aspiration of the customer. And that's what brings us here and gives us the clarity of how we are going to consolidate and get to the top tier in the market.
Absolutely. I think you have a very strong vision, and I'm excited to see what's in store for Avaasa Living. People often draw comparisons between the skylines of Shanghai, Dubai, New York. Bhavya, how would you describe the approach to urban landscape in these cities?
I personally believe that all the three countries, all the three places have their own element to it. A lot of time people just look at tall buildings, skyscrapers and think it's all one of the same. But I think it's very well planned. All the three places have their own language, have their own way of interacting with people. Let's take New York for example. When we look at New York for their night energy out there, it's very timeless. You look at New York and you feel, wow, where am I? And when you look at Dubai in the same way, that nightlife is very futuristic. When you look at the nightlife, you will not feel that you are in a present space. You always feel that you are 5 years, 6 years ahead of time. So all the three places have their own language, own culture and own movement, and that reflects in how they stand with the landscaping. So I can just sum it up by saying that New York is timeless and Shanghai is moving and Dubai is the future.
Dubai is the future. It's attracting a lot of global investment, and a lot of populations, very affluent populations, are moving here. But how would you say, in terms of the innovation and interior design and infrastructure, how would you say that client expectations have evolved?
So, Saloni, I think that Dubai now is a good mix of family, independent professionals, and students, who are beginning their careers. And there is a ask of better places to live in. There is an ask for community living, cultural living, amenities which reflect not just the aesthetic part of it, but also the wellness part of it. And at Avaasa, we understand where our audiences is coming from, what this part of the world is now trending through in terms of their thought processes, and how we can deliver their expectations, their aspirations, put in a good blend of culture, well-being, entertainment for the complete family, for all set of audiences that we cater to. And I feel this is a dream of every passionate designer to be able to give and to create, for such a large variety of audiences. And, it makes our job very exciting. Yeah.
Okay. So, Bhavya, Mayank mentioned that client expectations and demographics are shifting in the region. What would you say are some of the changes you've seen in the interior design landscape?
So as Mayank rightly mentioned, we are in a place which is quite globalized. We have people from all the countries out here. It's quite developed, and the way we are designing things has quite taken a curve. It's like a hockey stick curve. Earlier we were designing something else, and in the past 4-5 years, everything has changed. Nothing is similar to what we were doing 5 years ago. And some basics are obviously the same. They will stay intact, I think, for the next 100 more years. But the implications and how we are designing it has evolved a lot. And especially, I would say that has evolved a lot after COVID time. A lot of people realized the importance of living at home. A lot of people realized the importance of staying with the family, staying connected together. So that has given a lot of scope to interior design. And I think that need for staying at home with family is the reason that interior design has evolved a lot. And when I work back in India and when I work in UAE right now, I see a huge difference in both the audiences and the needs that the people have. Like, for example, when I'm in India, people say, "How can you reduce the price? How can you give us some discount in the whole project of yours?" But when I'm working in UAE, people are very much clear that they want to set their own image, their own impression, or their own identity to a project, whether it's a G plus 4, whether it's G plus 6, whether it's even a villa. Does not matter. People always ask this question: how can you portray me in this project? How can you make it personalized for me? Because the reason I think that is happening, because there are so many people out there from all over the world, people are feeling that they are losing their own personal touch to things. So that is something which they want to go back to. And one way of doing that is by how they are planning their house, how they are designing their house, how they are planning to live in that house. So that gives a personal touch to somebody, and that is how design is evolving. Earlier, it was a similar thing: 1 BHK, 2 BHK, 3 BHK, same houses which were catering to a mass audience. But now people want personalization, and that personalization comes with our planning: what we can do to them, what we can do for them, how we can make the house sustainable for them, how we can focus on those nitty-gritties and those details that can make their house be theirs, not just brick and mortar. So that is something which has evolved a lot, and that is something which I'm seeing a lot in UAE lately, and I think that is the future. And obviously a good amalgamation of technology with interior designing, I think that's the next step forward. I believe Dubai has already taken that step. It's just running faster and faster towards that. And back in India, I think they're yet to take that step. So that is a huge difference. When we are designing, we feel that in India, people just want to plan the space. In UAE, people want to plan the space as per them, as per what they do, as per how they live their life. Like, if I'm designing a same budget house, let's say I'm designing a 5 million house out here, if it's for a businessman, he will have a different approach, a quite different approach. If it's a realtor out here, he will have a different approach. If it's a corporate person, a quite different approach. And that is the occupations. But when you come to geography, we'll design something different for a person from US. We'll design something way different from a person for a person from Europe. And from India, obviously, we design in a different way. And similarly for Pakistanis, all the other people out there. So we have to focus on a lot of different segments when we are designing in UAE. We cannot be nonchalant and we cannot be very comfortable that this is what we design. No, we have to keep it evolving every day for the right audience, or else people won't accept what we are doing.
It is very true that people have spent more time at home with the pandemic, and so the spaces we live in matter more now. The energy flows inside a space. I'm familiar with the principles of feng shui, and I'm sure many people are, but you mentioned to me before that you incorporate the principles of Vastu. Could you share a little bit more about this?
So I think that we come with that unfair advantage, Saloni.
Okay.
We understand that subject matter. We are expert at it. We have team dedicated to that. So, wellness is not just only about exercising. I think it starts from the very basics of the direction of sun, the energies of wind, water, air, earth, and how we kind of constitute all of this into the Vastu chakra, as we call it in India. And it's not a myth, it's a science. It's a science-based, method. And how we can then start building up the design elements in sync with these basics intact is something which I feel gives that vibration, that positivity to the family who resides and occupies the space.
Okay. Bhavya, when you walk into a space for the first time, what are some of the things that stick out to you immediately?
That's quite an interesting question. Because whenever I enter a space, I'm always looking at how it is planned. I would have done this better. I could have done that better. Or, oh, this is something which I did not think of when I walked in the space. So every time I'm entering a space, I'm judging it. I'm being very judgmental about how the space is working, how it is interacting, how the person who has designed the space thinks. So yes, it adds on a lot of value. And as Mayank rightly said, that we come with an unfair advantage of Vastu. So whenever I enter a space, I look at the compass wheel, that where am I entering from? Where are the energies flowing? How I can plan the space better by keeping this Vastu intact. As you mentioned about Feng Shui, that you're very aware of Feng Shui. So what exactly is Feng Shui? Feng Shui and Vastu just go hand in hand.
Yeah.
These are just two different terms for two different cultures. And that's absolutely fine. We cannot say one is right, one is wrong, because when you look at it from a broader perspective, both of them are aligned together. When you look at Feng Shui, they say open the east. Why do they say that? To have the heat, to have the calmness come in. Same thing, Vastu says open east. So they can have different reasoning for the same, but they have their final approach similar. Similarly, when we enter from a house, let's say we are entering from the northeast direction, which is considered the best as per Vastu. Feng Shui also considers that direction the best. So when you look at it from an outer perspective or from a broader lens, it's somewhat similar. And coming back to your question, like when I enter, what do I look at the place? So first thing which I generally see is the Vastu, how that place is interacting. Is that place is going to be good for the person residing there? Or if we need to do some additions, some subtractions, if we can do something better. And the most important thing, I'm thankful to the degree of architecture that I was able to learn about anthropometry too, which helps me design.
What is this concept?
So anthropometry is like the study of human movement. So we study how humans move.
Wow.
What kind of space he or she requires. Like I'll just give you a small example. If you're walking from a passage and we have both the walls out there, we cannot walk in from a 2 feet passage. It will be claustrophobic from somebody. Similarly, if we are entering a space, if we are exiting a space, what size of bed should we have? What size of wardrobe should we have? If we have a wardrobe, how far a bed should be so that a person can bend and open the drawer. So these are very small contingencies that we have to focus on, but those are very important. Sometimes we just enter a space and feel something is not right about the space. That feeling is what makes sure that the anthropometry is wrong in the house. You'll not be able to feel it, but you will feel that something is wrong. That's something you cannot point a finger at.
Wow.
So that is what we have to focus on, which a normal layman might not be able to see, but they will experience it. They might not see it in the process, but once they start living, they'll start feeling the issues which come when you are not planning as per proper anthropometry standards.
All right. So for our listeners who want to improve their homes or their offices, what are some small practical changes you can offer them to improve their spaces and the energy flows?
All right. So when you are entering a space, you always want to feel welcomed in that space. So never occupy your entrance space. Keep it open. Keep it flowy. Don't put any big furniture out there. Don't put any big, huge paintings or something of that sort out there. Keep it open. Keep it flowy. And as I'm seeing in UAE, the room sizes are comparatively smaller out here. So for your small room sizes, do one thing, and I think it will help anybody a lot. Don't take furnitures sticking to the ground. Take it something which is uplifted from the ground. Maybe it has 4 legs and you can see the space below the bed. When you see that, it gives you an illusion of a bigger space, number 1. Number 2, it makes your movement even more special. You won't see that, but when you are over and over visiting that space, you'll realize it. Point number 2, always focus on using light colors. Don't go for like dark colors, black and all. You can use black as like an highlight element. Like for example, if you have 100% colors in the room, let's say 5% is black, but rest of it should be neutral colors so that the space can feel welcoming to you. I would never recommend, or I would say I'm completely anti of doing that, but never ever have a mirror right opposite your bed, because you don't want to wake up and look in the mirror. It does not give out the right energies. Never ever block light entering into your house, because when natural light enters your house, it gives you a sense of relief. It gives you a sense of freshness. And a lot of times I see people blocking the windows by some huge furniture, maybe a big fixture which they bought for crores or lakhs of money out there. So don't do that. It won't help your house. It won't make you feel good in that house. It won't give you the right energies in the house. And one of the most important point, don't block the cross ventilation. If you have a scope of cross vent, keep it open, keep it continued so that that cross ventilation can happen and give you the right energies in the house. And one quick Vastu tip which I would like to give,
Okay.
never ever sleep with your head in the north direction. It is not meant for that. Always sleep in the south direction. That is the best. Keep your head in the south direction, or east or west can also work, but never ever sleep in the north direction. And if you have that in your house, please change that.
That's amazing advice. I think all of us are going to go home and look at the compass.
For sure.
Thank you so much for sharing. That was really, really great advice. So, sustainability and climate care are very much talked about in the public sphere. These are very important issues that are affecting every industry. At Avaasa Living, how do you strike a balance? How do you find a balance between sustainability and aesthetics and style?
I'm glad that you brought that up. I think that in today's time, to make your homes green and energy efficient is a very important thing. Sustainability is not just a decorative word, but it also kind of, makes us understand the smaller aspects more deeper, and how we can put little changes to the structure of the house to make it sustainable, eco-friendly, with negative or zero carbon footprint, and of course, using the natural elements like water, light, wind, and bringing in the positives of what we already get from the nature to be able to reduce the emissions and make the house more sustainable. I would like Bhavya to actually give you a couple of use cases of how we have incorporated this in a few projects of ours, and it will give you the clarity of how we do this.
Okay.
So again, I think we'll be repeating ourselves, but again, Vastu comes into play when we are looking at sustainable living or healthy places to live. So like, just give you one add-on out there. If you're opening the windows in the south direction, you have a lot of sun coming in, and it's not a healthy sun. It has harsh UV rays. It is entering the house and it is giving you a greenhouse effect inside the house. If you place windows in south direction and put a lot of ACs, air conditioning out there, and if you open your north or east direction and then put on ACs, you'll see the difference of at least 30% of your electricity bill just by doing this small change while planning the house. So sustainability is a word which has been in the market for a very long time, and it is thrown away like anything.
Yeah.
People just say we are making sustainable house, luxurious house, but basics are missing. You cannot make a sustainable house if you are spending more than 30% of your electricity on just running ACs. You can't just do that. And secondly, a lot of people are making the spaces look lavish by giving skylights. So I'll just talk about one of my project out there. So we gave a beautiful skylight, but we planned the skylight. Number one, we placed it in the northeast direction of the house, which was very important for us. And another thing was, we did not put a flat skylight. We put up a prism design skylight out there. So what it does is, it moves the sun in a particular direction that it does not enter the harsh sun inside the house, but the soft sun right in the morning or late evening. So by doing that, we were able to save the house from having a greenhouse effect inside it. So that's one thing. But another thing is, when you're planning a skylight, you have to plan some air gaps also, so that the hot sun which is entering, the hot air inside the house can go out. Most of the time, people forget to do that. They look at the design, it looks fancy, they do it. But what happens then, even if it is in north or east direction, sun is still entering the house. So it gives a greenhouse effect inside the house. And when you enter the house, you feel a hot wave of air. And that is not good, number one. And in extreme situations, especially in country like Dubai, where in May or June, people are not even able to survive in this heat, there can be a lot of glass breakages also, because it will create that greenhouse effect, and once the hot air has to leave the house, it will find its source, and once it finds its source, it will break the glass and move out of there. So it can be quite alarming. And point number two, when you are designing all these things, you have to be very careful of what places of the house you are designing in. So let's say if the light is entering like very harshly and it is falling on a, let's say, crystal glass or something,
Yeah.
and the refraction is making the light even harsh. So if it points at a furniture or something,
It could burn.
Exactly, it could burn. So it can have such devastating effects out there that we cannot even think of. So smart planning comes there, sustainable living comes there. I'll also talk about a commercial project which we did. So the founder had a very clear vision that I don't want it to be looking commercial. I don't want people just sitting out there working in a particular scheme of work. I don't want that to be happening. It was a decent size of space, around 5,000, 5,500 square feet, and he had around 120, 125 employees out there. So, and he had a very weird wish, I would say, that he wanted to address all of the people at one time. He didn't want to move to different places. He wanted to address all of them, and he wanted them to be sitting at their own spaces while he's addressing them. So we were running our designs, sketches, hogging our mind. We were not able to figure something out. But then we realized that we have 4 major columns right in the center of the office. And we also had the flooring already done, which was a bit tapered flooring design for the tiles. So we got an idea from there. Let's not make it commercial and let's make it a bit different. So what we did was we created 2 Ys following the columns. Y designs where one segment can sit around 20 people and the other side can sit 20 people. So with the Y being formed, we have a triangle being formed at the end of the Y, if you can imagine that. And obviously you'll see a few photos of that too. But at the end of the triangle, we put the main managers out there. So they are branching out their work as per the team. So 2 main leaders are sitting at the end of the triangle. They are branching their work to the edges of the triangle, and then that is being branched to the Y. So there's a hierarchy being maintained out there. It's a system being generated, and it is not commercial at all. And all of these places are segregated by decent real plants out there, which acts like a screen. And one more review which I got from the client, which we did plan, but we did not share it with the client. We wanted him to come us with that review, which was that we placed so many different people in that particular area that when he's talking to different people, when he's standing out there just like 5-7 feet nearby, the people sitting at their tables or at the chairs are not able to listen to it because of the frequency difference happening at a level of 4 feet and a level of 5.5 or 6 feet. So he's very happy that even when I'm scolding my employees, rest of the employees can't hear that.
Yeah.
So he realized that once he shifted to the office, once he started using that space. So that is what we do. Sustainable living is not just about putting in plants anywhere and everywhere, not just by opening windows, getting all the light in. You have to choose the right light. You have to choose the right plant. You have to choose the right place. That is what sustainable living and smart living is.
I see. So sustainability and design do go hand in hand. And based on what you've said, they've gone hand in hand for a long time. I'm sure that a lot of young entrepreneurs, young designers are listening to this conversation and finding it very inspiring, the work you are doing, the work you have done. So if you were to give them any advice, or perhaps if you were to give younger versions of yourselves any advice, what would it be?
Follow your heart. So, Saloni, I think that we humans have tendency of sometimes overthinking and making things complicated. I would advise my younger self and people who are now aspiring to build their careers and in a phase of choosing their life paths is very simple, that you need to be a dreamer, be passionate about what you believe in, follow your heart, and discipline and determination is more important to be able to get the results. The heart takes you on the right path, but to be able to reach your milestone, achieve your goals in life, you need to be determined, cut the noise, don't care what people have to say, and of course, bring in discipline. It's not about just working long hours. It is also about, how you are kind of manufacturing your day, putting right amount of hours at the right amount of aspect which is required in your work. And once you are able to bring that discipline, not just for your mind, but also for your body, because, this goes hand in hand. Look at your physical improvements along with your mental improvements, your work improvements. I think nothing is unachievable. Yeah.
Wonderful. And Bhavya, what about you?
I think Mayank has covered a lot of what I wanted to say, but I would just say trust the process. There's someone out there looking out for you. You just work hard, trust the process, and you will reach your destination, obviously, but don't be lost in the process. Because what I have done in that time, I always feel that I was so lost in the process that I did not enjoy the process going forward and was just looking at the destination. So destination will come, but do enjoy the process. Have that one outing with your friend. Don't miss out on everything while you are developing yourself. You will be able to do that. God is kind. He'll be with you. Just be focused on what you want and just run towards that.
Thank you so much, Mayank. Thank you so much, Bhavya. I've had a wonderful time chatting with you. This has been such a great conversation.
Thank you for having us, Saloni. It was a pleasure being here and to be able to put our thoughts and, speak our mind and heart out. I think this is a land of opportunities, and I'm glad that we've been given this opportunity to build Avaasa and make difference to, people's life.
Thank you so much for having us. It was really nice being on this podcast with MoneyPetrol, and I think we had a lot of fun while talking about our lives.
Of course, it's our pleasure. At MoneyPetrol, we are always striving to bring you the most interesting stories from the people who are shaping the Gulf's future, one conversation at a time. So don't forget to subscribe to our channels and follow us on social media. Until next time, ciao!
RG Group. We value your investments.